Let me go to a first time call out of Los Angeles. Jonas out of LA. Jonas, welcome to the show.
Hello,
You're on the air.
hello, Jesse. Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
Yes, so the reason I was calling was, I'm at a real crossroads right now, and I've been using drugs since I was 18. Been through a lot of different rehabs, more than I could count, and sometimes I would get clean, but I always end up going back to using. And for the past 8 months, I've been using again, and I just got fired from a job because I couldn't show up. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. And, after watching you a lot recently, seeing that I've just been letting the devil run my life. And I have forgiven my parents. And I see how pretty much I've been just going by ego and anger and just trying to prove something and chasing money and success. And so basically where I'm stuck right now is I have an opportunity to go to a long-term rehab in Israel. I am a citizen of Israel. I know the person who runs the program. I've actually been there once before, and I really respect the person. I trust him. It's a free program, but I would have to give up everything that I have here in LA, which isn't much, but it's my apartment, my car, what is more freedom, at least it feels like, than being in rehab, which is like a shared room. I guess my question is, so how do I know if going is really the right thing to do for me, God calling me to surrender, to start over, to do the right thing, or if it's just an emotional move trying to run away from my life again. So I want to do the right thing. I'm just don't know if this is it.
How old are you?
31.
And you said that you have gone to several rehab places already, and it has not worked.
Correct. I've not changed the ways.
And why not?
I just
And why not?
because I have a lot of like maybe low self-esteem, and I just begin to think that I need to change things on the outside to have a good life, to be happy. That now that I am sober, I need to go back and try to make money and try to look good and try to build this life up because I've already wasted so much time. And then every time I pursue that thinking, then I start saying, well, I could use again, or maybe I just don't
But
even.
when you say you have a low self-esteem, what does that mean?
It means that I feel that if I don't have stuff to offer, and if I don't look like I've had accomplishments in my life, then me without any of that is just like I feel like a loser if I don't, as I am right now, if I don't have something to show for myself, basically, and I feel like I haven't done anything.
And when you had those things, did you feel like a winner?
Um, well, no, I felt lonely when the times that I did have it.
So when you had
I
all those things that you should, what do you think made you that you don't have? You feel like a loser, but you had those things, and you still didn't feel like a winner. Why not?
Well, what has happened was I
Why
would
didn't
then
you?
start.
Why didn't you feel like a winner when you had those things?
Why didn't I? Because I don't know why. Honestly, I still just felt I just still felt bad about myself, and then I would start using again, and then I would lose everything, and then I would just basically repeat that cycle over and over again. And
And so you
you know,
had those things that made you what you think a person should have to feel like a winner. But when you
yeah,
had them, you didn't feel like a winner. It didn't work. Why do you think getting those things again will make you feel like a winner?
I really don't even know why I believe that. Maybe it's just from believing a bunch of lies from growing up in LA. And I wish I didn't believe that, to be honest with you. I wish I didn't have that constant pressure and anxiety over me all the time to have to do that.
So
But
why don't you stop believing it? You know it doesn't work. When you had those things, you still felt like a loser. You were lonely, things were not working. And when you don't have those things, you still feel like a loser. Why don't you give up this idea of being a winner? Why don't you just live your life?
I guess because I keep thinking that maybe I just didn't do it right. And if I just try again, I'll do it a little bit differently. And this time it will work out.
And who is causing you to think that way?
Well, after listening to you, that's just the devil in my head telling me that.
You're not
and
sure
I'm
about
believing
that?
it.
I want you to think about this, Jonah. You had all those things that should make you feel like a winner. You worked hard, you got those things, you had them, and yet you were lonely. You didn't feel like a winner. Then you lost those
Right,
things because when you were a winner, you went back on drugs. So you lost
right.
all those things, and now you think that in your lostness, you're thinking, "Oh, if I had those things back, I would feel like a winner." What would happen if you just stopped believing in winning or losing? There's no such thing as a winner. There's not one winning person on earth. It's an illusion. An illusion. There's no such thing as a winner or a loser. Why not
Well,
stop thinking both ways? Why do you have to think that way?
I mean, I guess I don't have to. I don't know how to stop thinking that way. I guess if I could turn it off and just not care at all about that and just live my life like you said, I think I would feel much better. I
So
would
why
just
don't
be
you do it
complete.
then? Because if you think you're a winner, you're gonna think you're a loser. If you think you're a loser, you're gonna think you're a winner. And neither way is gonna work. But if you
That's
didn't
true.
think either way, then life would work. Why don't you just
So
let
what
all that go?
so what do I do when I let it go and then my head starts spinning, and then how do I not just, because then I start feeling like a loser, like, oh, I failed, I couldn't make it, I had to give it all up
And
because,
so
you
who
know,
feel like a loser? Who are you?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know. I'm after, again, like after listening to you, I'm really just beginning to look at that differently and see that the thoughts are popping up in my head, but they're not me. It's just something my brain is producing. But then who am I? I don't know. I really don't know.
So if you know that you don't know, why do you say I feel like a loser or I feel like a winner? Who are you talking about? And who is telling you that you're a winner or a loser? Who's talking to whom? Who? Why do you call yourself a loser when you don't even know who you are? Who are you calling a loser or a winner?
Honestly, I'm just going based on the feelings
And
that in that
are
moment.
you your feelings?
I don't know. I don't. I mean, it sounds like from listening to you, no, but that's new information to me. So I mean, I would trust you and say no, I'm not my feelings, but it feels like I'm my feelings because I feel my feelings.
And so uh, I know what you mean. But let me ask. So what does a winner feel like?
A winner feels like he he's good. He doesn't. He doesn't. I don't know what a winner feels like. Like like he's an accomplishment. Like he doesn't. Like he doesn't regret. Like he feels good that when he wakes up in the morning, he knows that he is living his life to the best of his ability, and he's not settled or sacrificed or given up on something because he just felt that he didn't take the easy route, did what needed to be done to live to his fullest potential.
And does a winner need drugs?
Absolutely not.
And does a winner feel lonely?
No, I think a winner is someone who is really
So
good
why
with
did
God.
you
And
feel lonely as a winner? Why did you feel lonely? When you were a
um,
winner, why were you feeling lonely?
I mean, because I wasn't a winner. You know, at that point, I still, like I said, I mean, I I just keep thinking, well, maybe I just need to do it a little bit differently. I just need to stay sober a little bit longer, but keep chasing the same things I was chasing. And if I can just hold on to it a little bit longer, then it will all be fine. But it's like now, 10 years later, it's just ridiculous. And
And does a
um,
loser feel lonely?
yeah,
And so so a winner have the same feeling that a loser has?
no, no,
But you felt lonely as a winner. You still felt lonely. You still go back to drugs, right?
right.
And
So
as a
I work,
loser, you feel lonely and you still go to drugs, right?
right.
So what's the difference between a winner and a loser?
Um, I mean, according to the way I've been living, nothing really, because they've both been the same thing.
So why you keep
Uh,
doing the same thing over and over? Why don't you drop the idea of being a winner or a loser? What would happen if you dropped the idea of being a winner or a loser? What would happen?
I that would be a big relief
So
for
why
the
don't you
few
do
seconds,
that?
because when I just let go of it, it just appears again, and it
From
just
where?
convinces me
From where?
in my head.
And where does it come from to enter into your head? Where does that come from?
I mean, I guess my brain.
Your brain don't your brain don't produce thoughts. Your brain make the body function.
So I don't.
Where are those thoughts coming from?
Well, so I don't know.
And so
I don't know.
why do you call them my thoughts? You call them your thoughts. Why? Would you ever make yourself feel like a winner or a loser? Will you ever
Um,
say that? Will you ever make yourself feel that way, winner or loser? Or would you ever
what?
make yourself think that way?
No, no. If I could just choose, I would just put it all off and not worry about it.
And so, since it's not your choice, why don't you put it all off and don't think about it? Why don't you let those thoughts go? Win a thought or lose a thought. Why don't you just let them pass, knowing that they're not your thoughts?
I guess I'm just not convinced of that yet, but I want to be, and I'm willing to be convinced of that, and that's part of why I'm calling you.
And
Is
why don't
maybe
you?
just
What will it take to convince you of that?
I think the only thing will be if I just decide to do it, and then just keep doing it until I can see more objectively.
So why don't you do that then? Can you get across a bridge to the other side of the road without crossing the bridge? Or will you have to just sit there and think about crossing the bridge?
No, I'd have to cross it.
So why don't you just do this then? Stop believing the thoughts. Identify with it. Why don't you just do it? You've heard me say it, and the way you're doing it is not working. Why don't you just do it? Can you hold for a minute?
Yeah.
Hold on. I want to go back to Jonah, and Jonah is trying to decide if he should go to yet another rehab center, this time over in Israel. Jonah.
Yes, sir.
I mean Jonas, not Jonah.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you the same guy that was in the belly of the whale?
Yeah, same guy. Same guy. That was me. I was like, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just gonna go back to the bottom of the ocean.
So, Jonah, why don't you drop the thoughts and don't think of it yourself as a failure or success?
So when that thought comes up, what would I do then?
Just watch it and do nothing with it. Don't call it you. Don't identify with it. Don't fight with it. Don't run away from it. Don't do anything but watch it. And watching it will destroy it. But if you fight with it or try to If it tell you that you're a loser, now you got to work hard to be a success. Or if it tell you if you're a success, now you're afraid of becoming a loser. If you didn't listen to either one of those ways, you would be free. You would not have a battle going on. All you have
So
to
how
do
does
is
any
you need to do is just watch those sides. So how what?
so how does anything get done? If
Uh,
I'm just not, I mean, do I? How do I make any decision to do anything?
uh,
How do
is
I do? I
is anything getting done with you making decisions like this? Are you
no
getting better or worse?
progressively worse.
So why don't you stop making the decision about that and just become the observer? Why don't you try and see what happens? Just, you know what, this time I'm not going to believe the thoughts. I'm just going to stay present and live my life. Why don't you give that a try to see what happens since the way
Okay,
you're doing it is not happening? It's not helping.
well, I'm going to do that.
No, that was a question.
Oh, well, I've never. Well, I've always just gotten into like this sort of panic of, well, I have to plan, I have to figure things out, I have to make decisions. And if I don't make this plan and figure things out, then my life's never going to happen. And even though I've gotten it wrong so far, I just have to keep trying and until I get it right.
But there's not one person on earth who have tried to get life right and they got it right. You can't do that. It doesn't work for anyone. Um, uh, when you say you try to get it right, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about Jonas.
And what is getting it right? What is a right life in your mind?
So it would be that I have a strong connection with God, that I have a job that I go to, that I financially support myself, that I don't feel bad all the time, that I'm sober. It's really the number one on the list, and that I'm happy, that I actually I want to be alive, that I like the life that I have, that I don't feel like
You should go to work. You should. God gave you the ability to provide for yourself on earth. He gave you the mindset to go to work, make some money,
right.
buy a house, save some or whatever, right? But
So
not for
that's
you to
exactly.
live, not by for you to live by that way and get an identity from it. It's just an outside world. It's not who you are. You're not the outer world.
So that's kind of, I guess, my question to you is: should I just, follow your advice and go to work, or do I go to this treatment center in Israel and kind of just go there and start over from there?
What makes you think that going to another rehab center? You've been to several, according to you, rehab centers in
Yeah,
the United States. Why do you think
yeah.
going to another rehab center in Israel going to help you?
I really don't know. I just think that like nothing I've been doing has been working. So that's the only
So
reason
another
I've.
rehab center is not going to be able to work. It's just another rehab center, even though it's in Israel. It's just in a
Right.
different location, but it's the same thing. Your problems are not outwardly, your problems are inwardly. They're in your thoughts. You believe your thoughts and emotions. And as long as you obey them, they're going to always influence you to make the wrong decision. And when you make that wrong decision, they're going to laugh at you. And while they're laughing, you're going to be crying. And then while you're
Yep.
crying, they're going to tell you another thing to do. You're going to follow that. And they're going to laugh at you again. As long as you're listening to thoughts, they're setting you up to laugh at you. Because none of them will ever work.
That's been my experience. I agree.
Are you an alcoholic, you said, or a drug addict?
Drugs.
You're a drug addict?
Yeah.
Oh. And what type of drugs you use?
Heroin.
Oh, are you Jewish?
Yeah.
A Jew or heroin? What the?
I know it's
How
it's
you
a,
going to
it's
control the world and you high?
No, there's no possible way. There's no possible way. Now, what about just about because there is a place that is more local that could be a shorter period of time just to sort of get clean, not necessarily to uproot my entire life and go start over somewhere else. But what do you think about something like that? Like 30 days just to get everything out of my system and then continue and just basically go back to work, but under, going more with what you said than listening to my thoughts.
What will happen if right now you never gave in to another suggestion from thoughts to do heroin? If you just did not give into it, what would happen?
I would probably go through some type of withdrawal. And then if I made it through that, I would find a job and then I would just go to work.
Why would you do that then?
I know that's what has been.
That was a question. Why don't you just do that?
I mean, I feel like every time I try to do that, I give into my thoughts.
Why don't you stop? So why don't you stop when the thought comes, the temptation comes to do some heroin? Oh, Jonas, you're lonely right now. Why don't you just pop a little heroin and feel better? What would happen if you didn't obey that and just dealt with the loneliness and realized that there's no such thing as loneliness? That's an illusion too.
I mean,
I asked.
Probably.
Go ahead.
Yeah, probably I'd begin to feel better.
So why would you do that, man?
I have okay. I mean, I'm gonna do that.
No, I asked, why don't you do that? Why don't you just do that? Why don't you work on you rather than looking on the outside for the answers? The answers are not outside of you; they're inside of you because all of your issues are inside of you. They're in your imagination, in your emotions, and the emotion in the body. But they're not you. Why don't you work on the you, the not you, by being aware of the not you?
I guess I just really haven't been taking things seriously enough, or been willing to not be a victim and helpless, and up until now, really, I haven't been really seeing it that way. And that's, I think, the only thing that's been stopping me is just living in self-doubt and living in this sort of like giving into my thoughts to just, basically waste my life away. And I haven't been I just haven't been willing to just make a final decision to say no to all of my thoughts, that all thoughts are lies, and just period. And
so you're not ready to be free then. You're pretending. So you go into another rehab and pretend that you want to be free, and you're looking on the outside for the answer as though the rehab has the answer, and it doesn't.
Right.
Because you may stop doing heroin, but you're still going to be lonely. You're still going to be lost. You're still going to feel like a loser. Because they're just thoughts and feelings. They're not real.
So I think you're right. I have been just pretending. I've just been like the boy who cries wolf, basically talking about it.
So I asked before the break, if there's a bridge and you need to get from one side of the road to the other one by crossing the bridge, the only way you can get across to the other side, you got to walk across the bridge. But you sit there, you think, you stand there, you're looking at the bridge, and you're looking across to the other side of the road, and you're standing there thinking, oh, what if I can't walk across? What if, I'll try later. Or how would you ever get on the other side of the road without walking across the bridge?
I never would. And it's
why
like
don't
people.
Why don't you like what?
Well, and my life so far has been people asking me that, and I just been saying, yeah, I understand. I should walk across the bridge. I should go over there. Once I get over there, things will be much better. And it's just been the discussion of crossing the bridge.
And so, likewise, you should stop believing thoughts, walk across the bridge, and see what happens. Why don't you do it? This time, I'm not going to believe thoughts. I'm going to do the silent prayer. I'm going to become the observer of thoughts, but I am not my thoughts. I'm not going to call them me. I'm not going to identify with them. And why don't you do it just to see what happens? Why don't you doubt the thoughts and see what happens?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I don't have any reason not to do it at this point.
And then don't assume that when you watch these thoughts and stop giving into the suggestion of or doing cocaine or whatever you're doing, don't assume you're going to have withdrawals. Have no assumption. Always have a wait and see attitude. You may not feel anything about it. You may be just done with it. But don't have this assumption that, if I don't do it, if I do stop, I'm going to have the withdrawal and go through that. You've been told that from the world, and now you're assuming that, and you're going to be expecting that to happen. Why don't you have a wait and see?
Wait and see. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine with that.
That was a question.
Oh, I never considered doing that, honestly. I just never thought about thinking about it that way. I just, my head said this is what's going to happen, and I just believed it, and that was it.
Well, it's time to stop if you want to be free of all ego, because loneliness, suicidal thoughts, calling yourself a drug addict or alcoholic or anything, or saying that you want to be a successful person or non-successful person, all those things are ego. They're of the devil. They're dark. They're not you. And that's the thing that you must die from. You must overcome by not identifying with them so you can have life, real life. And in real life, all you have to do is live. There's no war. There's nothing to fight with or to fight against. You just live your life. Let it happen. You'll be fine.
And what about finding a job? Like,
go out and find a job.
Because, like, right now, let's say, for example, my resume, it isn't 100% accurate. Like, I have gaps in my resume for treatments and stuff, but I'll extend, like, being at a job longer. Is that like something that's just another product of my thoughts?
Jonah.
Yeah.
You need to find a job.
Okay.
I'm asking.
Yeah, well, now I do.
So why not just go look for a job? Why do you need to think about all that? Why don't you say, oh, you know what? I got to get a job. Make a decision. The decision is, I got to get a job. Go looking for the job, and everything else going to work itself out. Why do you need to worry about that rather than just going looking for a job? It's like trying to buy a house, and you say, oh, I'm going to go buy a house. Then the next thought, oh, I don't know how I'm going to pay for the house. I can't pay for the house. How am I going to get a house? And then coming up with all that going to stop you from looking for the house. Because when you find the house, you're going to be able to pay for the house. But if you think about paying for the house, you're never going to find the house because you're thinking about paying for the house. It's like looking for a job. You know you need a job. Go and look for a job without thinking about what's going to happen when I get the job or if I don't get the job. Why not just look for the job and see what happens? Everything else,
okay.
You will see what to do next. You coming over, oh, I got to find a job. What am I my resume? Oh, I got to go, but I lied like this. Why are you doing that? Why don't you live a single-minded life rather than double-minded?
It's just been in fear that just not having any faith, and that's been it. Just not having any faith. But I mean, seriously, the last couple weeks I've been listening to you, and I went to religious school in Israel for a long time. None of it really made any sense, but since listening to you, a lot of things that I've learned have been able to see it from a different perspective, and so that's been really really great as well. And so I think that I mean I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do what you're saying, and I've never looked at it that way before. I've never thought of it that way before, and I've just been helpless basically my whole life, and not realizing that was just just me believing lies that my head was producing, or that thoughts were coming from somewhere, and I'm just going to do one thing at a time, you know.
And Jonah, you don't need faith to live. You just need to live. Life is already happening, and it doesn't need you to believe in it. It just needs you to live it. It's already done. It's finished. It just needs you to live it. It doesn't need you to believe. So don't try to make yourself believe in it. You just live. Doubt the thoughts and emotion and just live. Don't be double-minded. Make a decision. Do that decision, and one decision will lead to another and another and another on its own. It doesn't need your help.
Okay. I will do that.
Have you forgiven your mother and father?
I have.
You told them?
I have. I did tell them.
Okay.
My mom started crying, of course.
When she's crying, she's lying.
She's lying, man. As soon as she started, I was like, "Here we go." and then she said, next thing she said was, "How dare you? How dare you?" I was like, "Okay," but I forgave her, and my dad, I forgave him, and that's been helpful. It's been very helpful.
Are you doing the silent prayer every morning and night?
No, I have not been.
Boo.
So I'll add that.
Boo. Oh, beta. Listen, do what you want. I'm not telling you to go to Israel or not, but what I am encouraging you to do, I want to encourage you to do the silent prayer, practice watching those thoughts. Don't call them you. You can call them it. Oh, I see it. I see it. It's trying to make me doubt myself. I see it. It want me to be emotional. I see it. It want me to be angry. Don't call it you, so you can stop identifying with an illusion, and the real you will be made clear to you eventually. But the real you have no problems, no issues, no concerns, no worries, no doubt, no anything. The real you is free, and you are it's so amazing. The real you have no problem. You're fighting with the not you. It's the not you that you are calling yourself a drug addict, calling yourself this and worried about that. That's the not you. The ego is the one with all the problems. The real you have no problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
So overcome the fake you by being aware of the fake you. You're not your thoughts. All thoughts are all lies all the time about anything.
Okay.
The good ones and the bad ones. And so in closing, the next time the thought come to do the drug thing, right? It's like, oh, yeah, you're lonely. Oh, you don't have a job. Here, hit this pipe. I want you to watch it and don't do it. Do not do it. And then watch how those things in your mind and the emotions are going to start screaming. Yeah, oh, you can't live without this. You need this. Hit this, you're going to feel so much better. Oh, you got to have it. And don't do it. And then they're going to like, come on, you got to have it. Blah, 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 whatever it tells you. And then you find yourself giving into it. Don't do it. But let's say you do it. It gets so strong that it's trying to make you do it. You just find yourself being weak. If you find yourself doing it, try not to. But if you find yourself doing it, don't judge it. Be aware of yourself going over to wherever your drug is located, next to your bed or wherever. Be aware of yourself going there to pick it up. Be aware of yourself picking it up. Be aware of yourself putting it in the pipe. Be aware you're lighting it up. And be aware of yourself taking that first hit. Be aware of it. Don't be unconscious. And it's the awareness that would take it away from you. It would take away the appetite. I promise you that. But if you like, oh, look at me, I'm a drug addict. Oh God, I thought I was done with this. I said I would never do this again. I'm a loser. If you start judging yourself, which is a false self, all you're doing is giving life to the illusion, and you're gonna find yourself doing it even more so. Don't have an opinion about it.
Okay.
Try not to do it, but don't judge yourself if you do.
Got you. Okay. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate that, and I'm going to be doing that.
And so work on the false self. Know thyself. Become aware of the thoughts and the feelings. Don't call them you. Feelings are not from God. The good or the bad or evil. Stop identifying with that. Do the silent prayer. Practice being present, and let me know how it goes.
Okay, I will. I definitely will. Thank you.
I don't know where you are in LA, but we have fellowship every Sunday morning for all people. Doors open at 10:30. Meetings start at 11. And the first Thursday of the month for men only. So you're definitely welcome to. We love the Jews, so you're welcome. We have some Jews there, and so feel free to come and fellowship, and you're going to get so much help.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate that. I know where it is over there. I found Pico or something. I was looking it up.
But if you don't come, you still work on yourself, and let me know how it goes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right, buddy.